Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video, and I am way late on this, but it's the holiday season, so it is what it is. The most important thing is that I have been spending time with my family during the holidays. Hope you guys have had a fantastic Christmas and are looking forward to the new year as well. But we got the full kit for Rapi, so let's talk about it. Now, I have done very little research on this, as I said, kind of been busy with other things in life, but I have had a chance to read over the skills just now and just kind of like formulate my thoughts a little bit on this. So let's go ahead and read through it and see just how busted she actually is. From my first impressions, she's kind of nuts. So she is a attacker type with a machine gun and using, she's an attacker type using a machine gun, is a burst 3 and has fire code element. Also, I got a bit of the cold over the holidays, so I've been battling that and been on very low energy with that as well. Thankfully, it's been pretty minor, but if my voice sounds weird, that's why. So, she's officially a fire code ally, or she's an officially fire code unit. You can tell my brain's foggy from sickness. I can't even, like, call it a unit versus an ally. Anyway, this is going to be an interesting video. Anyway, so she's officially fire, but she's also going to deal damage as an iron type unit, which we'll see a little bit more in her kit. So her ammo capacity is 300, her reload time is 2.5 seconds, and she deals 5.57% of attack as damage, dealing 200% to core. All of this is really basic. This is totally standard. She doesn't have the higher attack value like we see on Modernia and the slightly higher one that we see on like Winter Ludmilla. She has like the standard stuff that we see on all machine guns. So nothing as far as her base stats really like jumping out as being impressive. Now let's get this out of the way right away. She has 2 full slides of skill description. Like, we're getting to the point of serious wall of text where we need a second one. This tends to happen. I mentioned this with like some other units that came out recently where it was just like a wall of text, and it just like progressively they tack on more and more and more and more effects the more powerful units that come out in these kind of games. It just is how it is. But in this case, we're finally to a second page, which is kind of crazy. I gotta say, I didn't really expect that. But since she functions as both a burst 1 and a burst 3, maybe we can give her a little credit for that. Anyway, activates at the start of battle and at the end of full burst. Each effect differs according to squad formation. So activates only the corresponding effect. Affects self if there are no burst stage 1 allies. And then combat assist changes to burst phase 1 continuously. Or affects self if there are burst stage 1 allies, removes combat assist. Okay, so basically what that's saying is if there is another burst 1 in your formation, she will function as a burst stage 3. If there are no other burst stage 1s in your formation, she will function as a burst stage 1. But it looks like she's not going to be able to, she won't be able to function as both in a single formation. So it's kind of a one or the other kind of thing. So if she is functioning as your burst stage 1, it's going to affect all allies if in combat assist status. That's when she's burst stage 1. When entering full burst, cooldown of burst goes down 7.48 seconds, and attack damage goes up 8% for 10 seconds. Okay, 2 really crazy things happening here. So attack damage is the best type of damage buff in the game. If you're new to the game and you're excited for Rapi, you should be. Just know that attack damage is the best thing possible as far as increasing damage. It's at the end of the damage formula, so we're already getting a really good boost there. And then cooldown of burst goes down 7.48 seconds. I went back to check and see what the cooldown was of some other units. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys. Check me. But I believe this is the best burst cooldown we have in the game. That's faster than Leader, Dorothy, Rouge, Double D. She has the biggest burst cooldown reduction in the game, which is crazy. So even if she does literally nothing else, she's automatically a top tier unit. That's how good burst cooldown reduction is. The fact that she has the best burst stage cooldown in the game, as well as attack damage buff, just makes her nuts from this one thing right here. So this kind of says make her a burst stage 1, right? But we'll see what she does as a burst stage 3 as well. So if she's not in combat assist status, so if she's functioning as a burst stage 3, she will increase attack by 95% for 10 seconds. And this is only affecting herself. So the other things were affecting all allies if she was a burst 1. But if she's a burst 3, her own attack goes up by 95% for 10 seconds, and damage to interrupt parts goes up by 48% for 10 seconds. If you don't know, the interrupt parts are those red circles that pop up on a lot of bosses where you need to take those down in order to keep some like super like ultimate attack from hitting you. So it will be useful, but not like, you know, a critical type of thing here. So big attack buff, but so far it looks like that ability from her being a burst stage 1 is going to be better. Now let's take a look at her skill 2. Attachable projectiles. This is kind of a wonky name, but it says activates at the start of battle, affects self, applies damage as strong element to electric code enemies continuously. So this is where we're getting her damage as an iron unit. So she's going to deal that extra damage to electric units continuously all the time. And then projectile attachment damage goes up 150% continuously, and projectile explosion damage goes up 100% continuously. All right, well, what is all this projectile attachment stuff? It says that in the next bullet point, activates after 120 normal attacks, affects self, attachable projectiles. Effect launches attachable projectiles that attach to hit locations. When entering full burst, the projectiles explode. So after 120 attacks, she's going to send out these things that like lock on to the enemy, and then they wait to go off until you go into full burst. Projectile attachment damage deals 88% of final attack as damage. Critically, final attack factors in all of her equipment and buffs and all that, so that's really good. And projectile explosion damage deals 88% of final attack as damage. And max ammo capacity is 1 round, so you can't do like, you know, a bunch of these repeatedly over and over. So that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. And she's going to get that no matter what type of burst stage she's doing. So, and it looks like we're going to get both kind of like an initial part of damage, and then the explosion damage will be like another hit that will presumably also be some kind of like AoE as well. So that is looking like a very strong ability. And the more max ammo you can give her, potentially the more of these you could do, although probably won't really matter because the max ammo capacity of these is only 1. So, you know, you're probably not going to be like running into an issue of ammo before you're cycling into another burst anyway. But okay, so now let's go to the second page. Let's take a look at her burst skill. So Power of Inheritance, cooldown time is 40 seconds. Okay. This kind of sounds like it's going to doom her as a burst stage 1, but she does get an effect here. When used as a stage 1 squad action support, action style affects self, cooldown of burst skill down 20 seconds. So if she's used as a burst 1, she gets a 20-second cooldown. Also, the cooldown reduction from her skill 1 of 7.48 seconds. So you're going to be able to cycle through bursts faster than anything else. And if she is a burst stage 3, you're going to get that standard 40-second cooldown, but with the amazing cooldown reduction of 7.48 seconds as well. So let's see what it does. Explosion radius goes up 100% for 10 seconds, so we're going to get a really big AoE from those attachable projectiles. And then affects all allies. Attack goes up 18% of caster's attack for 10 seconds. Nice, strong attack buff there, although nothing like super insane. And that is if she is a burst stage 1. When used as a stage 3, high mobility, close range combat weapon. Affects the enemy nearest the crosshair, deals 2,808% of final attack as additional damage. That is an insane amount of damage. I'm going to be curious to see how her damage compares to Cinderella, because that is nuts. I have a feeling we may have a strongest Nikke in the game again already, even after Cinderella was super OP. which does feel like we're scaling kind of fast. Power creep is coming a little faster, but the thing that makes me a little less worried is that, we tend to get something really crazy at the end of the year, and then likely for the rest of the year, we're not going to continue to get things that are like more and more and more powerful. So don't panic too much on that. But that is going to be a huge amount of damage. But we're not done yet. Effect self explosion radius goes up 100% for 10 seconds. So the same kind of thing that she would get if she was as a stage 1. And then projectile attachment damage goes up 421% for 10 seconds. So we're going to get a lot of extra damage from that skill 2. And then skill 2 attachable projectiles trigger count condition down 60 times for 10 seconds. So instead of doing it every 120 rounds, she's going to do it every 60 rounds. So that's going to really rack up the damage, effectively making you do twice as much damage. Plus, everything's going to be doing 421% damage, but you're doing it twice as often. So kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. Like, it'll definitely take some testing to see if she's better as a stage 1 or stage 3. I think she could be extremely effective as both, or either one, I should say. If like Red Hood is an example, it kind of makes me think she'll get pushed into being a burst stage 3 more often. But depending on what your teams look like, you may need a squad that just needs a really good burst 1. And we are at no shortage of super high power burst stage 3s. And you're still going to get a lot of the offensive power from Rapi, even if you're not using her stage 3 burst. And again, that cooldown reduction is nuts. I don't know. Let me know if you've cooked up any specific squads with her. I'm excited to start playing with her. I'm definitely going to be pulling for her. She is an automatic max limit break. Must get at least 4 copies of her. Yeah, let me know what you think, guys. And hope you guys have had a great holiday. And yeah, I will be doing a poll video for her. So you'll hopefully see me before the end of the year, unless my sickness takes a turn for the worse or something, or I have nieces and nephews climbing all over me. You never know. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream. Oh, also, quick note on Girls Frontline 2, I started a platoon, so we just got the guild system in Girls Frontline 2, so if you play that game, definitely check it out. I made a community post about it. I'll put the Union ID in the description as well. I'm saying Union like it's Nikke. But the platoon, the guild from Girls Frontline 2, if you play, I'm accepting applications. You got to send me a DM on Discord. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.